It's the Jack
and Kathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was that?
Okay,
Did you like
I
that
think
one?
if yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I think we have to start out with an apology to all three of our previous viewers that there was one episode where we were eating and we were,
That was one, and there was one in
sorry
the
about
bed
that, Keith.
too. That
and
Keith
then the
said.
last one last week when we were in Santa Barbara, we were in bed, fully clothed,
From the top up,
fully clothed.
fully clothed.
From the bottom to the top.
When you
completely,
say bottom, you mean
I
like
mean
the belly button
toes. I
bottom?
mean toes.
All right, that's
yes. So, clearly we're very casual. We're very comfortable. This is not a high production.
Clearly.
Clearly.
We've got the pastel white wall next. Not even a picture.
That'll change.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're in our house now. And so, but our
we're
apologies to the peoples
Yeah.
for our unprofessionalism.
We're trying to make a studio of this room now. So the guitar
Yeah.
amps and everything are going to
Yeah.
come up here.
You know what? When we refinish the basement, that
Yeah.
little niche where we're taking out that bar, we could maybe set something up in there.
We
Make a
could.
little studio,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
There's not that much room there, though.
No, there's not.
No.
But anyway,
I'll construct some things because I'm
Yeah.
a constructor.
you are.
Right.
You're creative. So what
So-
else? Before we get into the meat and potatoes of our topic,
Okay.
I want to say how happy I am that you got your amp.
Oh.
My wonderful, talented musician boyfriend. You got, am I calling it the right thing?
Boyfriend?
No, amp. You're definitely my boyfriend.
Speaker cabinet.
Speaker
is technically
cabinet.
what it is, because I had an amp, which
You
is
had
that
the amp.
orange thing. I just didn't have anything to play the sound
Play it through.
Mhm.
Okay. And how did your sound? Because to me, it
Sucky.
sounded great.
It sounded like shit.
Oh, shut
I
up.
told you. I'm selling
Well,
it all
you're
tomorrow.
being critical of yourself,
I
not
haven't-
surprisingly.
So I've only played acoustic guitar and done songwriting type stuff. So I really haven't focused on. I mean, I'm never going to be as good as Key. Or maybe one. No, I won't. I'll never be as good as Key when it comes to soloing and stuff. I, however, used to be a lot better. And so I focused so much on songwriting over the past 6 years that I've just more done strumming and hammer-ons and arpeggiated stuff and finger picking, which
Yeah.
I know you know all of everything I just
Oh
said.
yeah, completely. I'm
And so I have focused so much on songwriting and construction that I've gotten away from musicianship, sort of, in that way. And so
because you said it's been 3 years since you.
6 years since I plugged in an amp. I
6
sold my
years since
cabinet
you
when I
plugged in
left
an amp.
Downers Grove. Well, 3 years I sold my cabinet, but I haven't played since my 50th birthday
Okay,
party.
so you can't be that hard on yourself that you have not played in 6 years and you might feel you're a little rusty, right? Rusty. Just a little
I
rusty.
am
You got to keep playing.
Tin roof.
Yeah.
Rusted. You know what that's from?
That would be a movie quote of some kind.
Love Shack, the song.
Oh,
Tin roof.
rusted.
Yeah.
I
No
didn't
one
get
knows
that
that she says rusted.
No.
Everyone thinks she just goes, rusted. That's one of those, Island Cecile versus Our Lips Are Sealed,
Yeah.
or I'm
Yeah.
Still Spanish.
Yeah.
So, should I tell the peoples the quick story?
Oh, yeah.
We've been going to a lot of concerts when we've had free time. We went to Summerfest and
Oh, and who did we just go see in Santa Barbara at the Santa Barbara Bowl?
oh, so good.
Camp.
Camp was so good. And it was,
Did we talk about that on the last podcast when we were in bed?
no, we did the podcast before we went to camp, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Because that was that night and the next day we took off. So we didn't do
That
the
was
podcast.
so good.
Well, it was so spontaneous because you were so busy during the day, and then I was gonna just have a nice romantic dinner because it was our anniversary. Maybe we did talk about it. I don't remember, but
can't
it's
remember
worth
either.
rehashing, right?
Yeah.
So
This is what happens when you're 56 and you do a podcast. You just end up actually repeating the
Same
last
podcast.
podcast because you can't remember.
did
what
we tell you
talked
that we're
about.
taking the kids skiing? Do you guys know how we met?
That was February's news.
It was. So, God, we've been doing this for a while now. We've got to do it better at consistency. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no, probably not gonna happen.
just to repeat for the peoples, it was our year anniversary, the 8th, which was about 10 days ago from this recording, because it's the 17th now. And you were super busy at some work in the Barbs.
Yep.
And so I was just going to get us dinner.
I know you had
And
planned a wonderful
really
romantic
nice-
dinner. What was the name of the
I
restaurant?
don't remember. It seemed really cool. It was in the section of Santa Barbara called like the Pulse or something. I can't remember what that area is called now.
Yeah.
Like the Verve or the Vibe. It was a cool area. The Rage, the Rave, something. Anyway, we were going to go out to a really nice dinner and then chill along the water and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. And then I said, I want to go see some music. And this ties to the AMP story, right? And so we go and find tickets to camp at the Santa Barbara
No,
Bowl.
you found
I
it
find
while
them.
I was
Sure.
busy. You were not super familiar with camp.
No, I
And
hadn't.
I was like, oh my gosh,
knew
I
of
love
them.
camp.
I ironically had one song that I liked, but I didn't know it was them. And you love them. Our good friends Ron and Aaron love them and have seen them several times. I'd never seen them, and I knew maybe a song.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Santa Barbara Bowl, which was sick. It's
SBB.
yes.
Well, that's what they.
Did they
that's what
really?
they had it written
Oh,
everywhere. It's the
I thought you were
SBB.
just being silly.
SBB.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nope. I sound like a.
You sound like a local.
I sound like a local.
You would if you were like, dude, you going to the SBB? So anyway, we go. It's a great show. Saw an opening act that was really good, and you sensed something when there was a song going on. Well, why don't you tell the rest of the story? Because you
Wait,
sensed
I don't know
something
what
in
you're
me.
saying.
You sensed something in me, and you then said something about
I turned
it.
to look at you, and I just looked at your face as there was this. I don't know if it was a electric guitar solo that this guy was just jamming. I don't know what it was. Somebody was up there strumming, and I looked at your face, and you were like, I don't know. You just were. I could tell that you were missing that. I could just see it in you. I'm like, you need to be
Yeah,
playing
and you
again.
you leaned over and went, "You wish you were playing, don't you?" And I think my head whipped around with one of those, "How does she know me so well?" And so I couldn't get out of my head for a week. Right? I kept looking online to see if I could buy a cabinet because I've got a beautiful amp head, an orange amp head tube amp, which is amazing. I have not played an electric guitar in 6 years. And so we went to a local shop in River West. Is that what it's called?
River West
Okay.
in the Milwaukee area. Yeah.
Found a speaker cabinet, a 2x12, which is way more than I need, but I thought I'll have it. And if I ever, drop it down to the kids, they can always have it, right? It's not going to go anywhere. And then today we were both doing stuff. You were working on the computer and I was downstairs packing for our trip. And I went, I'm going to plug this thing in.
Yeah.
And you are so kind and you don't know music at all, clearly.
No.
Because I plugged it in, my fingers felt like thumbs, didn't know where I was going. Granted, I've got really old strings on these guitars, so they go out of tune so fast. But I had a few moments where I went, oh, that sounded good. And it felt good just to grind and turn up distortion and all that stuff. So thank you boy, we went way for a long time on this topic.
That's okay. That's all right. Nobody's listening anyway, so we're good.
Right?
Yeah.
Steven's listening, Steven Heilenbach.
Aw.
I think your friend is listening too. You one who got COVID? What's her name?
Kateri?
No. Tim? No, not Tim. Wisconsin Tim, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Hi, Aaron. I hope you're feeling better, my
Same.
love. And your son Joey is feeling better,
Yeah.
my love.
So, totally psyched.
Yeah.
that I started playing.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting ready for something, and I walked upstairs, and you were in the bathroom. You just got out of the shower or something. And you were like, "That is so good."
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah, I'm quitting." I said, I'm done. I'm never playing
I
guitar
sounded
again.
terrible. I don't know what I'm doing.
You
I lost all my
suck.
talent. I used to be able to jam, and I can't
do something.
And I'm all thumbs, and I'm just gonna sell it tomorrow. I'm like, okay, let's give it more than maybe 40 minutes, shall we? You haven't played in 6 years. Let's just give it. Let's just give it a full hour.
I would
at
like
least.
to get a band together, not necessarily to play out, because I don't know that I could do that again, like play out regularly.
Just a jam.
I'd like to have a night where I have a show.
Yeah.
Right? Like 45-minute show somewhere where I get a bunch of guys that would play with me, and I think it'd be
Play
fun.
at
I'm
somebody's home or up at a Bloom.
I bet we could. Oh, Bloom would be
Saukville.
really cool if I did a show at the
Bloom.
Bloom.
Our friend Katie
And invite
Rowe
maybe the
owns
whiskey.
a Bloom, and
Invite
it's
the
an
whiskey
amazing
farm guys.
barn venue.
Oh man, that would be a gig. The whiskey farm
yeah.
guys. We saw this. You want to tell the peoples about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we went to the South Shore Farmers Market in Bayview, Wisconsin, and it's so fantastic over there. It's just full South Shore. And just for the record, my mother won the South Shore Water Frolics when she was, I think, 17 years old, and she got a crown.
What is the
'Cause
Water
she's
Frolics?
Beautiful. I don't know. It was some sort of
But she was
contest
crowned
right there.
queen of
She
the
was
Frolics, wasn't
I think
she?
she was a princess.
Was she
maybe?
really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But she won this beauty contest.
And they never
way
had it
back,
again
and
afterward.
I have no idea,
Okay.
but we've got some. Anyway, so we were there at the South Shore Park, which is where my mom had that contest. But, and the band that was playing there from Madison, Wisconsin, and they were
So good.
Are called the Whiskey Farmer.
Yeah, Whiskey Farm.
Whiskey Farm.
Yeah, so
and
good.
really talented
Yeah.
guy. And banjo,
Yeah, upright
fiddle,
bass,
upright,
mandolin.
yes,
Yeah, I
slide
mean,
guitar or slide whatever,
steel. Mhm.
pedal steel.
Yeah, yeah.
So really excellent.
Just an acoustic folk band that.
Yeah, but that would be cool.
Yeah, would
Shout
have
out
them.
to a Bloom.
We should do that.
If to
that
all
would
three
really be a
people
cool
need to
idea.
start following a Bloom.
Yep.
ABLOOM.
Not two
Incredible
B's.
venue.
Isn't it just ABL?
ABLOOM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we'll get
That would be
something
a good
together.
idea. Oh my God, that would be a
Visualize
blast.
it, babe. Manifest
Oh,
that
I can
shit.
see it happening.
Oh yeah, see?
To build a band up.
See, look at that look in your eyes. It's a good look.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
like a?
Well, I mean, usually
Sexy
it's kind of
look?
creepy.
What?
But,
Is it?
but it's a good look.
Is it a sexy look where we should press pause for a few minutes?
Few minutes?
That's all I need.
Oh, really? Okay, we're going to keep moving.
Yeah, it was. I think I'm excited about having it. It is. I don't think I've ever been a great guitar player. However, I will say it was very awkward playing, and at the same time, I loved it. So I can't. It'll happen.
It will.
It will. It'll
will.
happen. It's just a timing thing, and I think a Bloom would be a perfect location. Oh my God,
I know.
Katie would love it too. Have
Yeah,
maybe
she
3
would.
bands there.
She would.
And I could be the headliner, which would be
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
Shake it up, baby, now. Your turn.
Okay.
Take it up,
How
babe.
about we talk about
Relationships?
our topic? Yeah,
Do you know what our topic is tonight?
I do.
Awesome. Roll with it.
Well, I would sum it up of playing up to our strengths. Is that good?
Yeah,
All
you
right,
do the talking.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you. So this all came about because we, I hate to make it sound like we butt heads like every day, but
Well,
we
but
did.
why do you think we butt heads every? Why would you think that? Like because our podcasts talk about that.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
but-
So you know.
But we're going through. To be fair, we're 56 years old, right?
What?
I am.
I had no idea.
We're older, we've gone through serious relationships before we found one another. We know the formula of living alone probably better than most people, unless they're actually living alone. So it's easy for us to potentially clash because we're learning more and more about one another. And it's one thing to spend the night at each other's place and treat it like mini vacations, but are you reaching out to say hi, or you're putting this back together?
No, I'm just no.
But it's another thing when you're going through picking tiles and flooring and then starting a business like we're doing. Like, what the fuck, Kath? Can we? If you told me you were pregnant, I'd be like, yep, not surprised. But I mean, you know what I mean by just adding. It would be a miracle. Well, not really, because I'm amazing, but. But don't you agree that we're taking on a ton? So I think it's natural that we're going to try to. I'm going to say one thing and then I want you to take over. I told you I listened to Jay Shetty the other day and he talked about love languages and said not enough people talk about their fighting languages and how they disagree. And to know how each other disagrees, he's a solver and he gets really in the face. Let's fix this now and come on, let's go do this. And his wife is not. She needs time to process. She feels overwhelmed and flooded. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And so, but he believes people should practice their fighting languages to recognize those things so you can honor each person's process. So
I got to listen to that one.
it's really good. So tell everyone what we talked about because we're taking on a lot. And I think people want to hear that. We do so many silly posts, babe, with us laughing and frittatas and all this other shit.
Yeah, our Instagram is just super lighthearted and
because it
really shows. Yeah,
and then but we also have
lighthearted.
but we do have moments where we're human beings, and I can be a whiny piece of shit, and you're perfect. So
I'm just gonna let that float out there.
All right, you go. You tell the story.
So, it was. Like all disagreements they start with something really seemingly benign and ridiculous and seem to sometimes spiral fast, right? So we had that this week and ultimately came together again, obviously. And one of the takeaways that you brought up and gave a great analogy about how I like to drive the car. And I'm a good driver.
Oh, you're a very good driver.
My style isn't necessarily your style, but I'm a good driver.
Oh,
and
you're
you
a
are a
great
very
driver.
good navigator. Like if I try to look at my phone, I might get, motion sickness, or you're just better at the directions and whatever. And so why not stick to what we're best at, And so the driving is a very true but good analogy to illustrate that point. And how it applies to business for us is really letting you take the driver's seat of the marketing and organizational stuff of the business, and me trying to do what I do best, and that's.
You totally dodged what happened. You just went right to.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to dive in.
I think people need the context, don't you think? I mean, we don't have to rehash the fight.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to start a business together, and we're trying to remodel homes together. We're doing all these things, and we're both very strong-willed people, and we're used to being by ourselves for a long time and making our own decisions.
Yeah.
And now we have to ask somebody, what do you think?
Yeah,
or not.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Right?
That's a new one. Absolutely. I've been self-employed pretty much, not my entire life, but most of my life. And I have never even worked alongside somebody as like a partner in the business. So it's a whole new role for me.
Well, and you were able to be a successful real estate agent without having me or anybody really be in your life. You were able to just crank. And now we're trying to create something together, and there was ambiguity for me, right? And there wasn't for you. And so, there were moments of me going, what am I doing here? Like, do you want to do a business or not? And then, there's me going, this is what a business looks like. It's blah, 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 blah. And you're going, not when I was an agent. And I went, well, if you just want to be an agent, then what am I doing? And we started going back and forth. And then, we had this discussion about driving. And while I'm not a bad driver, I think you bite your tongue about 725 times a minute when I'm driving. And I tend to drive slowly, and I put my knee on the steering wheel, and then conversely, when we're giving directions, to me, it's always the funniest because you'll say things like, we were supposed to turn left there. Right? And then it's, oh my God. And so it kind of dawned on me, why are we fighting our strengths? Right? Why are we trying to be better at something we're not? So you're more comfortable driving. I'm more comfortable navigating. I don't care if I don't drive. You'd rather not navigate. So why should I be driving unless you're tired, right? And so we said, we got to do that with everything, right? We got to trust the other person knows more than the other person on certain topics, and not acquiesce, but allow that to happen, and know that that's how we're going to be successful, is to leverage each other's strengths as opposed to trying to be something maybe we're not as good as the other person is. And that's a hard thing, because you got to let go, right?
It is a hard thing, because if you're going to do that successfully, then you are also admitting that you're not as strong in a certain area.
Right.
And that can be hard for me, because I probably just think I should be able to do it all or something.
Sure.
I don't know. Or I'm just so used to doing it all.
Of course.
And I'm not used to handing over the reins in that way to somebody else. And so, yeah, it kind of came to a head a little bit, and I think we figured some good stuff out, though. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we went basically 36 hours barely talking to one another.
Yeah, that was a long 36 hours. That sucked ass.
It did suck ass.
Yeah.
And ready to this, that's totally speaking to the worst parts about us came out, right? I shut down and went, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
I just shut down, and then you got super defensive, and we just both said we're going to dig in our heels, and hats off to you for bringing us out of it.
Well, I tried, and then I had to wait for you to come
while.
back, and I was grateful you came upstairs then, sat down, and started talking and listening. Right? We both were trying to talk and listen.
I think we listened better.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot going on, and you have to. My advice to any relationships, particularly as you get older, is you just have to slow yourself down, right? For me personally, because it's very easy to become reactionary.
I gotta try to remember that, because I think I need to give it a breath before I react, and that's hard. I instantly are like,
we both
what?
are. Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, because I struggle. I've said this to you. I struggle like what do I do when I feel so misunderstood?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be defensive per se to everything. I just feel like, oh, that's not what I meant there. That's missing an element of a truth I had in my head that I just need to explain to you. But and in that effort to explain myself, it really, I'm not taking ownership for the bits that I can do better, or the bits that I need to work on.
Yeah. So there's a saying that I've actually used with us, and I don't know if you've recalled it, but I've practiced it.
Yeah.
And I hope Key can find it. So this would be a really cool video thing if all of a sudden Key could pull this up. So I'm going to tell Key to look for a quote from Seth Godin, who's a marketing expert that I follow.
Yep, I'm familiar.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this. So the context of this is really business and working relationships, like a client-vendor relationship, right? I just think it applies to so much. And you may have heard me say this. He said, that's not what I meant. That's the title of the blog. And it's a much longer passage than I'm articulating now. It essentially says this: "That's not what I meant, but that's clearly what you heard."
Yeah. That's not what I meant,
But that's what you
clearly
heard.
what you heard.
So let's try to figure out a way
yes.
to come to an
Yes.
understanding or something
Yes.
to that
I
effect.
need to paste that to my forehead.
Well, I don't know if you heard me say that to you when you mentioned something else
Yeah, I
about,
remember
and
you saying it.
and I went, okay, that's not what I meant. However, that is what you heard. So let's try to figure this out. And that calms me down just thinking of saying that, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the defensive posture is that is not what I meant. Right.
Yeah.
And, well, it doesn't matter if that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Or if that's what you heard in that circumstance. So we.
And really, if we would have said that from the beginning, probably would have never spiraled into
Yeah.
that, because the whole thing started because we were on a morning walk, and as we've already established, we have a shit ton going on, right? Like
Yeah.
way too much on our plates.
We do have too much.
every day.
We do.
Way too much on our plates.
I mean, and
It's
just not just the
self-imposed.
stuff with ourselves,
No.
but personal stuff. You've got,
Oh, in the
I've got
house
regular
and-
work to
yeah.
do. You've got modeling stuff that you're trying to. I mean,
Yes.
I feel as though
And
the
it's
days.
summer, and we want to have
Well,
fun.
we want
we
to,
don't want to say no
right.
to everything, so we could just do a house project, because
Right.
where's the living in that,
It
right?
feels like there's not a breath
So-
lately.
Yes. And so on our walk, I was like, I forget how I worded it, but it's very important how I worded it. I said something because we're going to be looking at a new color for the house, right?
Exterior color, yeah.
A
Brick.
new exterior color, and staining the brick. And I said something like,
When do you think we can start to stain? No,
No.
when do you think I could test the stain on the brick? Something like that.
no, it wasn't even that specific.
Well, it was about
What
the
do
brick.
what do you think about the color of the brick, or
Something
something,
like
like
that.
that?
Yeah.
What do you think about the color of the brick? And your reaction, it would have been, your reaction was, Kath, I can't handle one more thing on my plate.
Yeah,
Because
what
it
I
was
heard-
like pressure. It was like a vice.
Yeah, what I heard
on
was we
you
just added
like,
yet another
I just
thing to our
put
lives.
another thing on
Right.
the list, and the list is already, scrolled out and running across the lawn with to do things. And that would have been a good moment for me to say, what's the saying?
That's not what I meant.
That's not what
That's
I meant.
clearly what you heard,
But
though.
that's clearly what you heard. Because I really was just talking in generalities.
Yeah.
So like just thinking about, someday we're going to have a different color to the house.
And
But maybe
all
we
I-
don't paint till a year from
Yeah,
now, and that's
yeah.
fine.
Don't you go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't
well,
you-
that's kind of it.
Okay, don't you think the lesson that I hope everyone's picking up, and I hope we give ourselves some grace, because this is almost therapy for us, these talks. For me, it is at least. We don't talk
Yeah.
this seriously,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we really don't. We have moments where we get deep end of the pool stuff.
Oh, I think we go deep into the pool a lot.
Yeah, but we also are goofballs, and no one has
Oh, well,
seen
sure.
the shit stuff that we do is never on this podcast. And so it's ironic to me that this is almost like a therapy session for us to reconnect. And so
Yeah.
what I'm really encouraged by, because I'm going to start coming to tears, I really mean it. It really saddened me, those 30 hours or whatever it was. It was tough. However, look at it this way. We arm ourselves with more tools every time, and we keep coming back together, because
Yeah.
we could easily go, fuck this shit,
Yep. Yep.
and run into a certain place that's not healthy. And yet we sit down and go, all right, let's figure this out. And now we're doing a podcast, and we can talk about it I mean, if you're not learning, then what the fuck are you doing on this planet, right?
Right.
This is our journey.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. So there you go. That was it. I
can
don't know,
you tell
somehow-
the peoples that you've been rubbing my feet this whole time?
Yeah.
It feels so
playing
good.
footsie.
You are playing footsie. I just think I like this podcast, and I like people hearing that we do a good job of being silly, and all those things you see with us being the cartoon characters and other things that we do, that's real too. That's us. So I want to end with one thing. I'm super proud of you. I'm proud to be in your life. I'm grateful.
Thanks, baby.
And I'm excited about our business together. So do you want to show everybody who's watching what we did this weekend or this week when we had a meeting in the city? Or do you not want to do that?
What did we do? Oh, there it is.
Ta-da. Can you see it?
Ta-da.
That's it.
Got my first tattoo. I've been
Yep.
wanting one for a few years now.
You want to tell
Yeah.
everyone what it means real quick?
So what this is, so if you just look at half of it like that, it is, or really
that's better,
like
yeah.
that.
The microphone's
Oh, no,
good.
oops. There it is. So it's a Polynesian symbol, and chime in if I'm not getting this quite right. But the symbol by itself represents really humanity. Could be an individual or whatever, but then the symbols, when they're added to or manipulated or turned a certain way, or in this case, two of the same symbols joined together, it takes on different meanings. So the two symbols facing each other represents a relationship, a union. And so we felt it appropriate. It's called an Enata, Enata. So we decided we'd love for it to be our first tattoo together. And
if things don't work out, you've already figured out how to turn that into
an elephant.
an elephant.
Just kidding.
Great.
I've scoped out tattoo removal places. But yeah, so very meaningful Enata that we both had tattooed, and then it dawned on us that we might have accidentally discovered the name to our real estate endeavor that we're taking on. So Enata Homes was born as well. So we are working on that.
And who knows where it's going to go? It could just be us
absolutely.
goofing around for 2 years, selling some real estate, and we're not trying to create new software, turn the world on edge.
No,
We just want to build some things together and have fun with it.
that's
I think
right.
more people should do that with everything in life, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
All right. So
That was a good podcast.
peace out. Peace out.
You don't want to do we haven't done a paired thing in a while.
Oh, we
Is there a
haven't.
question you want to ask of one another?
We should have memorized one. Now all our devices are.
Yeah, they're all being
occupied.
used. Cameras over there,
Yeah.
cameras over there.
I don't know. I can't
Do you have a
think of
question you
anything.
want to ask of me that won't lead to a fight?
I better not. No, just kidding.
All right, we're going camping this weekend. Let's do this.
Oh yeah.
We're going camping this weekend.
How are we going to get our podcast done from the campsite?
Well, we'll come home Sunday and talk about it.
Okay.
It's a week away. We'll do it Sunday night when we get home.
Okay.
So is that okay?
Or from the campsite. Should we bring the equipment and do it from the campsite? Is that horrible?
I don't know how to power it.
In the car.
How am I going to get the power from the car to the tent? You want to sit in the car and do the podcast? Oh my God.
All right. Never mind.
Well, we could do that.
We'll do it.
If I don't
on Monday,
really want to bring
maybe.
all that gear, if that's
yeah,
okay.
I know. It's not the time
It's-
to bring all that
it's a lot
gear.
of
We
stuff.
got plenty of stuff. So
And we can leave this the way it is set up here.
this is true. Yep.
Okay.
We'll leave it. All
So
right.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Okay. Ask away.
What is the one thing you're looking forward to most when we go camping?
Oh, just being in the woods. Oh my gosh. The nature, just being in nature, period.
Okay.
Let alone, building a fire and going on hikes. And there's a lake there. We're going to Copper Falls State Park in Wisconsin, which I have never been to, but booked the tent site back in February.
Yeah, we're tent camping. This is not.
We are tent
We're
camping.
not glamping.
Yeah,
By any
yeah.
stretch.
Hiking, paddleboarding, mountain biking, and just sleeping under the stars. I sleep so well in that environment.
Oh, that's
I
good.
do. Oh, I just
Good.
love it. The cool air in the woods. Oh my gosh, it sounds amazing. How about you? What are you looking forward to?
The stars.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because
right?
usually when you're in such a remote place like that, there's no ambient light from big cities, and
Yeah.
to see galaxies and
Yeah. We're going
just the arrays, it's
5
that
hours
is-
north of Milwaukee.
yeah, that is in west too, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I love the most,
Yeah.
because the last time I remember feeling that way was when I camped in the Boundary Waters of Canada, but it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking up going, holy shit, where you
I
can actually
know.
see satellites moving. And so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to just lying down at night and looking up at the stars and having you pull my finger and just all that stuff.
Oh yeah. What's that mean again? All
Broke
right.
the barrier. All right, babe.
Okay, babe.
See ya. Peace,
All right.
everybody.
Peace out.
Peace.